Hello, welcome to the summary of the board meeting at the end of February. The board meeting took place on the 27th of February this month. We started the board with a patient story as usual, and this time we heard about the experience of a breast cancer patient who had care here at YDH. The overarching message was the great quality of the care that the patient had experienced, but some challenges with the environmental experience and multiple locations that care is provided within, which gave us something really to think about as a board. We followed the patient story this month with a departmental video. Those of you that have attended the Connect meeting may well have seen this. This month's video was on the emergency department, and if you're interested, it's available on the via a link via the website. Simon Setti gave us a detailed overview this month of preparations for a no-deal Brexit. There is considerable national planning taking place for such a scenario, and the large national focus is on ensuring supplies of drugs and consumables. And lots of national planning going on, new supply routes being put in place, and some stockpiling of supplies nationally to ensure that the NHS has 6 weeks worth of supplies. Within YDH, we're doing our own planning and are also doing similar work with our local supply routes from some smaller suppliers. Simon Setti, our Chief Operating Officer, is the Senior Responsible Officer for this work, and is being supported by Yvonne Thorne, our Head of Resilience. And there's a full action plan being developed that take us over the next 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the outcomes. I just wanted to also take this opportunity to reinforce some of the messages around EU nationals working here at YDH. Our staff from the European Union are a critical element of our workforce. We have almost 150 members of staff from European countries, and the Trust is taking a number of actions to support these staff, whatever the outcome. We'll be sending out some further guidance specifically to those staff during the next week or so. We heard about a successful accreditation, ACHKS accreditation of our oncology service. This is an internationally recognised best practice and quality assurance accreditation. So it was a great achievement for the team to get this. So well done to everybody in the oncology service team. Sheila Meldrum gave us an overview of the work that's being undertaken in theatres to improve theatre productivity. This included work to move a number of procedures from day surgery into outpatients, particularly in our ophthalmology service and in urology. And we also heard about the work being undertaken within orthopaedics to increase the number of joints on each list. It's clear that there's an awful lot of work going on, and the key to this is using real-time data to support our improvement. We had an overview this month of our work against the national 7-day standards. This is about making sure that patients receive consistent service regardless of the day or time of the day that they attend for emergency care particularly. We do really well on our access to particular consultant-led interventions and against the standards around our hyperacute stroke service. 2 areas where we need to do some further work, which will be the focus of the coming months, are ensuring consultant review within 14 hours and twice daily consultant review, particularly on both of those. We do all of that in the week. The issue that we have is at weekends and ensuring consistency of access. As usual, we had an overview of our operational performance. Demand on the hospital remained high during January. We saw a 10.5% increase in A&E attendances this year on last January. But also we noted that our non-elective overnight admissions, so people needing emergency care and staying overnight, the rate was actually flat from South Somerset, so no growth there whatsoever, which is not consistent with other parts of our catchment area, where we're seeing about a 9% increase in non-elective bed demand. So again, some really positive signs here for the work that we've been doing with the local GP practices through the Vanguard programme. For those of you kind of working on wards and in areas across the hospital, we still have Jasmine Ward open as our Escalation area, we took an aim and took a decision to consolidate all of the various parts of Escalation into one place, both for consistency of care and also to ensure staffing. And our challenge was then to also try and return Ward 6A to elective services, which I'm pleased to say we've done over this weekend. Our clinical and operational performance remains strong, and from a finance perspective, we're on track to hit our revised year-end forecast for the end of March, although the board did note some risks associated with the cost of escalation. It was also really pleasing to note that the reduction in agency nursing spend, particularly related to filling vacancies, has reduced significantly as a result of our overseas recruitment. And also some pleasing improvement trends in our workforce metrics, particularly reductions in our turnover rate, our absence rate, an improvement in our nurse vacancies, and also an improvement in our appraisal rate. Our key challenge at the moment relates to our spend on medical agency, and that needs to be an area of focus as we go forward. And finally, the board approved a business case for a new robot in the pharmacy department. The current robot is 13 years old, and the replacement will be put in place over the summer months. It'll increase our capacity and also guard against failure of the existing robot, which is now reaching the end of its normal life. So those were the summary of the board in February. I'll see you again next month.